Now for the tricky part, the calculation of our Raglan style sweater. It will be a men's sweater in men's size 52 to 54. It's a European size. I don't have any idea about the US sizes, so I hope the centimeter measurements will do it for you. And you will see this whole calculation is not that tricky at all. So I'm using our measurement charts. They are in our Nadelspiel shop, but they are not yet available in English. I don't have an English version yet, but I will do English versions in a few days. And here you find all the measurements, like the head circumference, the neck circumference, the chest circumference, hip and width, and back length, and height of the armhole, and so on. And I will be using those. Of course, if your measurements vary too much from standard measurements, those charts won't be a big help, and the best way would be to measure your own size. And also the rules of thumb I'm showing you in this video won't work if your measurements are too much of the standard measurements. So we planned a very simple Raglan cut top down, and I make a sketch here now for the body part and for the sleeves. First we will write down the rules and relations. Second we will write down the centimeters, and third we will figure the stitches and rows, respectively rounds. So this is centimeters. This is the rules first. The top part of the front is half of the neck circumference. For the top of the shoulder of the sleeve, we have 1/4 of the neck circumference minus 2 centimeters. An important part is the height of the Raglan part, and this is half of the hip width. Or 1/4 of the hip circumference. The width of the bottom of the sleeve is the same in centimeters. It's half of the hip width or 1/4 of the hip circumference. Next, the width of the chest. For the front part, it's half of the chest circumference. And at the bottom, we have half of the hip circumference. There is a few stitches difference between those two. And the widest part of the sleeve is again half of the back width. Back width is measured between the shoulders, and Lucy is curious what I'm doing here instead of playing with her. Okay, so we need the height of the body below the raglan part. Which is again width of the back width between the shoulders. Same for the sleeve. Now I'm taking the centimeters from my chart for men's size 52-54. We have centimeters here. Don't mix it up. With 20 centimeters top of the front part and 10 minus 2, 8 centimeters top of the sleeve. Half of the chest circumference is 52 centimeters. The height for the part below the raglan part, for the body below the raglan part, is 47 centimeters. Back width is the same, 47 centimeters, same as body height below the raglan. Half of the hip circumference is 56 centimeters. Quarter of the hip circumference is 28 centimeters for the bottom of the sleeve. Okay, so what's missing? The raglan height. So the height of the raglan part. So I'm doing the stitches now. I had a gauge of 17 stitches for 10 centimeters and 25 rows or rounds for 10 centimeters. So we have 34 stitches for the top of the front part, 14 stitches for the top of the sleeve, and 52 centimeters makes 88 stitches. And next we do the rounds for the raglan part. The height for the raglan part is 28 centimeters. And so that we don't mix up, write M for not murder, for Maschen, which is the German word for stitches. So the M is for stitches and the R for rounds and rows, of course. We must not mix up stitches and rows or rounds. So we have 70 rows for the height of the raglan part, and now we calculate the increases. So over 70 rounds we have to increase the difference between the top and the wide and the chest part. So we have to increase 54 stitches over 70 rounds. But we are increasing on both sides, left and right, which means we only need half of the increases. So we want to increase 54 stitches. That means we need 27 increases over 70 rounds. To calculate the increases, we divide 70 rounds by 27 increases. And this results in 2.5 something, so let's say 2.6. So every 2.6 round we have to increase, which is an odd number. So we will increase alternating every second and every third round. Is this calculation correct? We make a control calculation, a rough. If we increase every second and third round alternating, that means over 5 rounds we increase 4 stitches. How often is 5 in 70? It's 14 times. 5 times 14 is 70. And 14 times 4 stitches is 56. So we have 28 increases, which is very, very close to the planned, to the preferred 27 increases. So we stick to that. You don't need this calculation, I just did it for controlling our results. What else is missing? So I have 28 increases here. That's okay. And you just need the top part of the calculation. The rest is just for controlling our result. Then we need to know those 47, the height of 47 centimeters makes 118 rounds. (118 rounds for the body part below the raglan part, and the calculation of the decreases on the sleeve. We decrease over 118 rounds, and we have to decrease 19 stitches. We are decreasing on both sides, so that makes 9 decreases. 120 by 9 decreases results in decrease every 7th round. Now you clearly see the cast on stitches, 30 for the front part, 14 for the sleeve, and again for the back part and for the second sleeve. The raglan part 70, roughly 70 rounds high, and the chest circumference 88 stitches. And here we have the hip measurement, and we increase another 4 stitches under the armpit for a good fit. So this is our schedule, this is our map, how we will work. And I have already finished half of the raglan part, you see it here. And in the next video, video number 4, will show you how to continue with the body part below the raglan part, and how to reserve the arm stitches, the sleeve stitches, for working them later on.